There are a lot of different definitions of blended learning. While many can't agree on exactly what blended learning is, they can agree that blended learning is not the same as technology classroom integration. Don't misunderstand. Rich technology integration is a good thing. Students and teachers should be using technology daily. However, the line between rich technology use and blended learning can be pretty blurry. Technology use in the classroom is really cool and often increases student engagement. It can save the teacher time and help with efficiency, but it is not blended learning. Having students answer questions on a Canvas quiz or using a review game online are great ways to use technology, but they are not blended learning by themselves. If the teacher takes the data from the formative assessment and then posts information in an online discussion, asks thought-provoking questions, and requires students to defend their thinking, then that shifts the activity to a blended arena. The interaction has now switched from teacher to student to student to student. In the example, the use of technology transitioned from being a great tool to being an integral part of the learning and teaching process. Let's look at another. Using the Chromebooks to research a topic and create a project is a great use of technology. It helps students learn lifelong skills. However, the activity is not blended learning. If the students post their projects in order to receive feedback from peers to help edit and refine their work, the activity has become blended. Like I said, tech integration and blended learning can blur. Let's look at some of the hallmarks of blended learning. Number one, there should be a strong connection between online and offline work. The work students do online needs to have a direct and obvious connection to the work completed face-to-face. Online work should not be just a supplemental or enrichment activity. Putting a student on Progress Learning, playing Kahoot, or completing an activity from Discovery Education are not blended learning activities alone. What a student does in an online environment must inform what is happening in the classroom. Kahoot, Blooket, Progress Learning, and other online activities can be nice additions to the blended learning classroom if the activities are connected to the work in the face-to-face environment. Student choice is another hallmark. Blended learning classrooms should give students some control over the time, pace, place, and path of their learning. Our curriculum sets the pace for our school year, but pace also implies the speed at which students move through a lesson or unit. Age and maturity play a factor in increased student control. Blended learning will look very different in each grade level and can vary by student. This does not mean it cannot be done with all students. Delivering content and activities online gives students more control over their learning. When the work is online, students can access the information anywhere, anytime for review. They have the capability to spend more time looking over the information to process and apply new knowledge at their own pace. Teachers can use the LMS to provide resources that support all types of learners, thus giving students a choice in how they gather information. Students have the ability to use collaborative options that allow them to give and receive feedback from peers. This teaches students to converse and evaluate feedback from others before relying solely on the teacher for information. Blended learning models need to have an online classroom presence. Our learning management systems are Canvas and Seesaw. Teachers use these LMSs to house information. Canvas and Seesaw are home bases where students access activities and information, provide digital feedback, and share or post ideas. The online classroom, or LMS, is not a static site for students to save or download handouts. It is not a place to solely complete digital worksheets. The online classroom must include things that would take place in a face-to-face classroom, such as instruction, discussions, and assessments. The LMS will streamline daily processes for teachers and make assessing work easier. Blended learning uses technology tools to restructure the Sage on the Stage delivery method through repurposed time. This reduces the teacher to student ratio, allowing for differentiation and student autonomy as well as timely feedback and data collection. It frees up more time for student to student collaboration and problem solving. Blended learning allows the teacher to act as the facilitator and gives students the ability to interact with and apply new information before an assessment. Many believe that blended learning is just a combination of using the technology in the classroom as well as homework. This is a misguided representation of a flipped classroom. In the traditional classroom, students may prepare for a lesson by reading over materials at home. In class, they will listen to a lecture or a mini lesson, and then they complete independent work during class or for homework. In a flipped classroom model, students will complete an interactive learning module before the lesson. During class, students can collaboratively practice key concepts while receiving timely feedback. Once they've had time to work with the new information, the teacher can check for understanding and extend or review as needed during class or for homework. However, the flipped model classroom does not have to be done outside of face-to-face classroom. Teachers can provide online lessons and application activities during class, allowing students to pace themselves. Catlin Tucker identifies two other common blended learning models that can be done face-to-face as well. The station rotation model consists of small group, teacher-led instructions, while other students work collaboratively in groups to complete on and offline activities. The playlist model is specific to student needs. It uses pacing and path to differentiate and includes teacher check-ins to assess understanding. One thing to note is that while blended learning includes online instruction, it does not take the place of good teaching. It just happens differently. Teachers need choice in time, place, path, and pace as well. You do not have to choose one model and stick with it forever. You can use multiple models in one lesson. You can and should account for student readiness. The only thing you shouldn't do is be too afraid to try. In conclusion, rich technology integration can be looked at as a freshly baked cake. It's good. It can be eaten and enjoyed as it is. But there's no way to tell what the baker is using it for. Enhancing it will make it better and allow the end user to immediately recognize the purpose. The blended learning cake is decorated to prove it's a birthday cake. The decor is cohesive, well-planned, and just right. We know what kind of celebration the cake is for.